Legal disclaimer. Welcome to EVE's March 2022 Investor Day. I would like to first remind everyone that this presentation might contain forward-looking statements, including but not limited to EVE's and Zenite Acquisition Corp's expectations or predictions of financial and business performance and conditions, expectations or assumptions as to product development and performance, including but not limited to the timing of development milestones, competitive and industry outlook, and the timing and completion of EVE's business combination with Zenite. Forward-looking statements are inherently subject to risks, uncertainties, and assumptions, and they are no guarantee of performance. I encourage you to read Zenite Acquisition Corp's filings with the SEC for a discussion of the risks that can affect the business combination, EVE's business, and the business of the combined company after completion of the proposed business combination. Hello, I am Sonia Bridi. I'm a journalist, an author, and I will be hosting you today. Welcome to EVE's Investor Day. All events like this are very important, but today there's something special. After all, we are going to talk about one of the most disruptive technologies of our generation. EVE is hosting this event to share its vision of the urban air mobility emerging market and its revolutionary technologies. We will be together for the next 2 hours with an intense agenda. EVE's top executives will join me in the studio to showcase their holistic approach to the urban air mobility market, also known as UAM Market. We will also have a direct contribution from big names of the aviation ecosystem throughout the event. Today's agenda begins with EVE's top executives talking about the company's origin and mission. Then we will talk about what guides the product development, give you an overview of EVE's transaction and the global demand for urban air mobility. We will also explain the advantages of EVE's eVTOL configuration. I am not sure if everyone knows, eVTOL is how this type of aircraft is called. It stands for Electrical, Vertical, Takeoff, and Landing Vehicle. Then comes the strategy for the certification process and the entire network of services. After a brief break, we will discuss the key points of the operation. We will talk about the economics of the transaction, the business model, and partnerships that EVE thinks will make a protagonist in the global UAM market. At the end of the event, you will have a better understanding of EVE's role in this market and how the company will contribute to the widespread use of eVTOLs globally. The event is digital. We are at a distance, but we want you to be part of this very special moment. Here, next to the window where you're seeing me, is our chat. Send your comments, your opinion. Tell people what you are thinking about the event, of our ideas, our urban mobility concept. And we want you to have all the information in hand. So if you have any questions, or if you want to know more about any details that haven't been mentioned, send your questions through the box below. We will have 2 Q&A sessions, one before the break and one at the close of the event, in which we will attempt to answer most of the questions from the audience. Good. Message is given. Let's get started. And let's start with the star of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, with you, EVE.
Urban mobility currently causes severe constraints to a city's economic growth and its population's quality of life. Urban air mobility and its electric flying vehicles will bring a sustainable alternative mode of transport for urban and intercity commute. And it is not just about eVTOLs. Eve is creating the infrastructure, services, fleet operations, and air traffic management for the whole ecosystem with our global partner network. Our solutions combine Eve's human-centered design with Embraer's 50-year history of engineering expertise. For the last 25 years, Embraer has developed and certified more than 30 aircraft models. Eve has this expertise in its DNA. With a passion for innovation and a collaborative mindset, we're reimagining mobility in a safe and sustainable way for everyone, everywhere. Eve, Mobility Reimagined.
Ready to embark on this new world of urban mobility? So to start talking more about this project, they're already here dying to join me at the studio. André Stein and Jerry DeMuro, co-CEOs of Eve. Welcome, Stein and Jerry.
Thank you, Sonia, and welcome everyone. And good morning, Jerry.
Good morning and bon dia to you, Stein.
I don't know how we're feeling, but I'm very, very happy. After all these years of hard work, Eve is about to take off.
I'm very excited as well, Stein. But first of all, thanks to everyone for joining us today. It's a very important day for us. You can be sure that we have prepared this event with our full commitment. After all, we want this day to also be of value to each and every one of you. Isn't that right, Stein?
Absolutely right. And we want to start this event with the testimonial from two strategic companies for this dream to come true, Embraer and Zanite. First, let's make connection with Francisco Gomes Neto, CEO and President at Embraer. Then we hear the thoughts of Ken Rickey from Zanite.
Hello everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with you all at Eve's Investor Day. The wave of mega trends that creates new market forces is making innovation even more imperative. Rapid transformations and technological advances are pushing the limits of companies all over the world. At Embraer, we are powered by innovation, which is the major driver of growth for the company since its foundation. Sustainability is also at the heart of our business, and we strongly believe that sustainability can accelerate innovation within the company and drive business growth toward a better world. In this sense, Embraer believes that Eve can address many of these challenges in the transition to a low noise level and zero carbon emission aviation. At the same time, this energy transition will enable the reinvention of air mobility and the development of new market opportunities. And for this purpose, Embraer launched in 2020 Eve Urban Air Mobility, a new and independent company dedicated to developing products and services globally and through strategic partnerships. We are very excited with the progress of our eVTOL, a vehicle with 100% electric propulsion designed for urban air mobility. Now, to accelerate the development of this new market, Eve has entered into a definitive business combination with Zanite, carefully chosen by their deep know-how and experience in the air transport market. Eve has access to thousands of skilled Embraer employees, full support of Embraer's leadership, a competent, passionate team, and use of Embraer's global infrastructure. The strategic alignment with Embraer provides Eve with significant cost and execution advantages relative to other UAM participants. With this in mind, Eve and Embraer will lead the development of the new urban air mobility ecosystem and pave the way for a new era of aviation.
First of all, let me say that I'm honored to be here and very excited to be entering into this merger with Eve. When Zanite began over a year and a half ago, our vision was to invest in electrification, urban mobility, the future of aviation, if you will. And we put together a great board of directors and people that knew the aviation space. And we looked at virtually all the opportunities that were in the area. We looked at hundreds of opportunities. We actually talked to several dozen management presentations, and we really landed on Eve as being the best opportunity that we had, and really for 4 reasons. One is that Eve's vehicle is a simple design. And its simple designs mean several things. One is that it's not complicated, it'll be less complicated to manufacture and certify. I will note that we weren't interested in tilt rotors. There's never been a civilian certification of a tilt rotor. Also, when you have a simplified design, it also means lower operating costs. And although we like to think about all these exotic vehicles and we think about them all coming into the market, the reality is that this is coming into service because of its lower operating costs and because it will be attractive to the market for that. And so that's where simplified design comes from. Number 2 was that we avoided any opportunities where companies wanted to both build the vehicle and operate it. So when their business model was both an airline and the manufacturer, we thought that was a bridge too far. We thought that in many cases you'd be competing with customers. The market for this is going to be enormous, so better off to have more opportunities and then limit those by running the operating system, not to mention the capital needs that will be required if you were to both operate the vehicle and build it. Number 3 was really around the likelihood. People will talk about the likelihood of certification. We didn't talk about the likelihood of certification. We care about production. It's very nice to build an exotic vehicle. It's very nice to get it certified, but that doesn't make it marketable. You have to get a production certificate. You have to prove that the vehicle can be built to the same standards, and only after you have the capabilities of bringing the vehicle into production, can you then generate revenue. So when people would talk to us about time to certification, that didn't mean so much. We were more concerned about time to revenue. And so only Embraer and only the Eve platform, we felt, understood the complications of bringing the vehicle into production, particularly in the quantities that we're talking about producing the vehicle. And then finally, urban air mobility is going to be a huge market. And it isn't a monopoly. There will be many operators that will survive in the market. We didn't necessarily think that we needed to be the first to the market. We needed to be the best in the market. And as these markets grow, the best vehicle will survive and will be successful, will be the most successful. And when you think about the prime markets for air mobility, we tend to often think about them as being US-centric. We think about them transporting people in place of Uber. And you'll even hear urban mobility as being the next Uber. But the reality is there will be many opportunities for this vehicle outside of the United States. They will be in high density areas in third world countries. They'll be used for medical services in places that have remote operations. And when you start thinking about the urban mobility market as being worldwide, you come back to the fact that only Embraer has a distribution, has experience in the worldwide market, both in sales and in support. And so for those 4 reasons, we're pleased and excited to have Eve as our merger partner, and we look forward to a very exciting future.
Thanks, Francisco. Thanks, Ken. It is very important for Eve to have the confidence and support of these 2 great partners. At Eve, we believe mobility is a key to make life more fluid and cities more livable. And this gives us even more certainty of our mission, and that is to bring affordable air mobility to all, connecting people and giving their time back in a safe and sustainable way. And one of our objectives today is to articulate how we plan to deliver on this mission. But to fully appreciate where we're going, it's helpful to first understand where we are coming from. We began back in 2017 as a project within Embraer, specifically with the creation of Embraer X, Embraer's market accelerator. X meant exponential, as Embraer X was created to find disruptive opportunities for exponential growth, just like urban air mobility. Incubating this project within Embraer X allowed us the freedom to access the potential of the brand new market, develop and test various business models, and engage with collaborators from across the ecosystem. It was during this chapter of our development that we made key decisions regarding our business plan, including the design choice of our aircraft, our collaborative approach to fleet operations, and our recognition of the importance of a full-stack solution that includes service and support, as well as air traffic management capabilities. We also define our core principles that continue to guide Eve to this day, including a focus on true urban mobility, where we can provide society with another choice of mobility to avoid the burdens of traffic congestion. A focus on democratizing the benefits of air mobility so that passengers from all walks of life can access affordable, safe, and accessible transportation. And finally, a passion for transforming aviation into a green industry by embracing electrification and putting sustainability at the heart of our activities. In October 2020, we made a decision that the project was mature enough to separate ourselves from Embraer, as per the original plan, making Eve the first company to graduate from Embraer X. We saw this decision as a win-win. On one hand, we had even more freedom to be agile, challenge the status quo, and embrace new ideas. But through an ongoing partnership with Embraer, we could also leverage the strengths of a true leader in the aviation industry. Then, just last December, we announced our pending merger with Zanite Acquisition Corp. We expect this transaction to provide Eve with several benefits, including the access to significant levels of growth capital, an even greater level of visibility of customers, partners, and other stakeholders, and advantage in attracting top-tier talent to join our team. So this has been an incredible, exciting evolution this far. And as someone who was there at the very beginning, I'm so proud of our accomplishments to date, and even more excited about our journey ahead. On that note, I will now ask Jerry to share the perspectives of our strategic positioning. Jerry?
Sure, Stein. In September 2021, I made the decision to step off the board of Zanite and join Eve as co-CEO. I made this leap because I view urban air mobility as a once-in-a-generation opportunity. And I view Eve as the company best positioned to capitalize on this transformational opportunity. My perspective is rooted in the following discriminating factors. First, in the market. This is obviously an enormous market, but what is important is that we have chosen to focus on the largest segment of this market, true urban air mobility. We're developing a full stack solution that will allow Eve to address the entirety of this market. Our solution is second. Eve has chosen a vehicle design and fleet operations model that are, in my view, the most practical, capital efficient, and scalable approach in the industry. Next, our team. We've assembled an all-star group of executives, employees, and board members with significant aviation experience. In other words, this is not the first rodeo for this team. Then there's the support from Embraer. Obviously, the full support from Embraer provides Eve with huge benefits in terms of global resources, proven execution capabilities, and significant cost advantages. Then there's our partner network. The quality and breadth of our partner network is something that I am particularly proud of. Not only do our partners provide a strong endorsement of Eve and our prospects, but we gain enormous leverage by aligning with these industry leaders. And finally, there's our level of revenue visibility. We believe we have built the largest and most diverse order backlog in the industry, comprised of over 1,800 vehicles from 19 different launch customers. To put this into perspective, this order backlog provides revenue visibility that exceeds our first 4 years of aircraft deliveries anticipated in our business plan. You will hear much more about these aspects from the Eve team throughout today's session. But in summary, Stein, I believe we have the right combination of business fundamentals and execution advantages to establish Eve as a premier player in the urban air mobility market.
Me too, Jerry. Even more, because in addition to all the points you explained, at Eve, we believe that a human-centric approach is the best way to move forward. To talk more about this topic, let's give way to Flavia Chacha, our Vice President of User Experience.
Good morning. I'm Flavia Chacha, Vice President of User Experience at Eve, and I will detail what guides our product and service design. At Eve, how Stein mentioned it, we embrace a human-centered design mindset. That means that we always question ourselves if what we are doing is the right solution and if we are delivering the right value proposition to the stakeholder. To do this, we test hypotheses. We go out of the building to talk and to observe what people are doing, what they need to accomplish, and the difficulties they face during this process. Still, this outside-in approach helps us better understand the ecosystem where we will be working and its interdependencies. This knowledge is translated into new solutions, design drivers, requirements, and recommendations for our products and services. The human-centered design mindset also helps the company to save time and money by focusing on the right things, meeting the stakeholder needs and expectations. As a result, we bring a safer, affordable, and greener option for those who need to move faster within large cities. An important point is that we envision a future where we can provide mobility as a service, a door-to-door solution that connects people and things through air and ground. So we have a massive opportunity here to design the future of transportation, not only more inclusive and better in terms of overall experience for passengers, but also to create an entire new ecosystem that will benefit operators, service providers, communities, and municipalities. In order to achieve this goal, we understand that it is essential to work in a collaborative way with all players involved in this new service. That is how we are going to bring it to the market and develop a solution that will actually be adopted for all. By involving stakeholders from all segments in the design process, we can uncover and account for specific needs and roadblocks from the beginning. To finish, another important aspect of human-centered mindset is to be open to experimentation and validation of our solutions with users throughout the development. The idea is to guarantee that we are delivering valuable solutions, and if not, change the course or implement modifications. For that, we use mock-ups, proof of concepts, virtual and augmented reality experiments, living labs, and simulations in general. Well, as you have seen, there are many advantages to a human-centered design mindset, and I can assure you that it was fundamental to the project that you see today. Thank you very much, and I will call back Sonia Bridge to announce the next speaker. I won't go too far, because in a while, I'll be back to give you more details of the project. See you later.
Thank you so much, Flavia. To follow that, I want to call Eve's CFO, Edu Couto, to share with you details of the transaction. Welcome, Edu.
Hello, I'm Edu Couto, Chief Financial Officer at Eve. I would like to start with an overview of Eve's transaction. We put in place a unique deal that combines multiple partners with a long history in aviation, fully aligned to position Eve as a relevant player in the eVTOL market. We are combining the strengths of the third largest global OEM, Embraer, with the aviation experience of our spec sponsor, Zenite, and its group of companies, and several strategic partners with great know-how in aviation. This is the key element that makes our transaction so special and different from any other. We expect to raise more than $500 million in new money at the closing of Eve's transaction in the second quarter of 2022. This cash comes from a robust pipe of $347 million that has the participation of Embraer with $175 million, the spec sponsor with $25 million, and a large group of strategic and financial partners with $147 million. I would like to emphasize the quality of our PIPE investors. They will bring not only money to Eve, but also help our company in the certification process, entry into service, and develop of the entire ecosystem. We were able to upsize our PIPE in $42 million since the deal announcement last December, with the addition of new and important partners like Thales, Space Florida, and Acciona, despite all the market volatility. This is another proof that our investors are fully committed to Eve. They believe in our project, and they are looking to the long term. The cash from this transaction will significantly de-risk our project, as we are raising a good amount of resources to be used in the certification and entry into service of our eVTOL. This equity offer, combined with future debt finance lines that we may have access from private and public banks to fund manufacturing capex, will be very important to our success. Now, to portray everything I said, I would like to show a short animation that we have prepared illustrating all those differences of our transaction. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm available to answer the questions you may have. Please send it through the platform. I will meet you in the Q&A session. Stay now again with Sonia Bridge, who will introduce a very important moment of our event. See you later.
Thank you, Edu. Let me just point out that anybody who wants to send us questions can use the box that's below the chat, okay? And Edu has also given a spoiler of our next topic. Let's understand the global demand for urban air mobility. And for that, I call back to the studio Jerry and Stein.
Thank you, Sonia. One of the reasons we are so excited about our mission at EVE is that urban air mobility market is expected to be big.
Maybe you can share some thoughts about just how large, Stein.
Very, very big. In the spring of 2021, we engaged KPMG to conduct an assessment of the urban air mobility market. KPMG concluded that the overall market could reach over $30 billion per year in 2030, growing to 58 in 2035 and 119 in 2040. That confirmed our preliminary view and adds up to aggregate revenue opportunity of $750 billion. And while estimates might vary by source, there is a common understanding that urban air mobility presents a massive new growth opportunity. And it's not often that an entirely new mode of transportation is created. But we are watching this play out before our eyes, and EVE is one of the key players leading this revolution. And Jerry, what forces would be driving these revolutions?
First of all, are the related factors of urbanization and traffic congestion. Over half of the world's population now lives in urban settings, and that's projected to increase in the coming years. At the same time, traffic congestion has become a nightmare, particularly in cities like Rio or Sao Paulo here in Brazil, leading to enormous time and productivity losses. Second is the urgent need to reduce global carbon emissions. Transportation is the largest contributor of greenhouse gas emissions, according to the EPA. We're seeing a rapid transition to electrified vehicles in the automotive industry. And that same transition has now begun in aviation. And third are rapid advances in technologies such as advanced batteries, distributed electrical propulsion systems, and autonomous piloting capabilities. They're enabling a new generation of efficient, green, and safe, community-friendly aircraft. So the next question becomes, will consumers really buy into this new mode of transportation? What do you think, Stein?
Well, what we think and what we've learned based on our own research and backed by third-party studies is that the answer is, oh yeah. First, urban air mobility can save people their most valuable resource, time. For example, a typical car trip from Miami International Airport to the South Beach could take anywhere from 45 to 90 minutes, depending on the traffic. We can fly the same trip in just 7 minutes. Second, we expect the cost of urban air mobility service to be comparable to ground transportation. For example, a 30 kilometers or 20-mile trip with a tax or ride-sharing app like JFK Manhattan could cost between $70 to $120. We believe the comparable price for initial pilot eVTOL trip would be around $100, and that's at the entry service. With future autonomous operations, the comparable price could be just $50. Based on a modeling tool created in partnership with MIT, you can actually figure out how many and where are viable air mobility routes in any given urban sprawl, like Miami, New York, or any similar city, where there are dozens of potential routes. Now, to better understand the perspective of the user, we did several users assessments engaging around 50,000 people from over 30 countries. By the way, even the name of the company came out of one of these surveys, #NameYourEVTOL. Almost 90% of people that were surveyed said that they could use urban air mobility at least once a month, and 40% at least once a week. And we also found that over 80% of consumers surveyed would pay a 50% or greater premium over a tax to save on commuting time. So in short, the consumer value proposition is compelling and the demand is there. Jerry, to finish our panel, could you talk about the global scale of urban air mobility?
Absolutely. The size of the total addressable market is the reason why people are so bullish about the market. Analysts recognize the UAM sector will scale very quickly and become a global phenomenon. Back to the modeling work that we did with the MIT tool, we looked at a hypothetical route network in Miami and calculated a need for 88 routes and 32 vertiports in this market alone. So you can appreciate the revenue potential as you extrapolate the Miami routes and infrastructure to other cities inside the US and globally. And it's important to underscore the global nature of this market. When KPMG sized the market, they looked at the 84 largest cities and metro regions around the world, including North America, South America, Western Europe, the Gulf region, Asia Pacific, and Australia. The global nature of the UAM market presents both opportunities and challenges. The revenue potential is substantial, but UAM providers will need to scale quickly, establish a local presence in key markets around the world, and also secure the air operation certificates required in these markets. This would be a complex, time-consuming, and expensive endeavor for any new entrant. However, we have some unique advantages at Eve as we look to address the global market. First, we can leverage Embraer's existing infrastructure located in 80 countries, allowing us to create a global presence almost instantly. Next, we are pursuing the fleet operations market with partners so we can leverage their local resources and expertise and also scale our own operations efficiently on a partner-by-partner basis.
So, Jerry, let's finish our panel with a summary of global demand. We are talking about a market that could potentially reach $750 billion global total addressable market by 2040. The market potential is fueled by powerful industry tailwinds and strong consumer demand. This is a truly global market that's expected to scale very rapidly, and Eve is particularly well positioned to capitalize on this global market opportunity.
Stein, I think that we've managed to go through all of the important points, but if someone has any questions, please send them over, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. We'll now turn it back to Sonia Breedy.
Jerry and Stein, what a presentation. You can get a glimpse of the revolution this sector is going to cause. Now we have another important participation in the event. Joining us from a remote location is Will Hayburn, Chief Financial Officer at Blade.
I'm Will Hayburn, Chief Financial Officer of Blade. We are thrilled to be partnering with Eve as we prepare to transition our global urban air mobility ecosystem to electric vertical aircraft like Eve's in the very near future. Blade has built the world's largest operating urban air mobility company. Whether we're transporting a heart from a hospital helipad or helping a business person catch a flight from JFK, we are aggregating the best use cases in the world today for Eve's aircraft. Blade has now built the largest operating urban air mobility company in the world. We're serving our customers using conventional aircraft today, but everything we're doing, aggregating infrastructure, building technology, and making our customers happy, is designed to prepare for that transition to electric vertical aircraft like Eve's in the very near future. Having flown hundreds of thousands of customers over our history, we know that our flyers will love the new Eve aircraft. Particularly, we think they'll be excited that it is quiet, reliable, and emission-free. Additionally, we know that the communities we serve around the world are going to appreciate how quiet this aircraft is. Over time, we believe that will allow us to expand our infrastructure footprint even further, creating new ways to connect our flyers to the communities that they care about using the Eve aircraft. The Blade-Eve relationship is also a perfect fit for our asset-light model. Blade will not own or operate the Eve aircraft. Instead, working with Eve and its network of partners, Blade will pay by the hour for flights flown, consistent with the way that we work today. Eve and Blade make a fantastic team. Eve, backed by Embraer's decades of aerospace experience, is in a perfect position to develop the world's leading electric vertical aircraft.
Well, by now, with the speeches that opened our event, it's possible for you to get a taste of the coming reality. But How about starting to see all of this in action? How about getting to know eVTOLs better? For this mission, I will call to the studio Luis Valentini, CTO at Eve. Welcome, Valentini.
Hello, everyone. I'm Luis Valentini, Chief Technology Officer at Eve Air Mobility. After several years as an engineer at Embraer, I had the opportunity to participate in a really unique project in life, the design and conception of an eVTOL. Like me, I think many of you have had the childhood dream of this type of vehicle. How many movies have tried to guess what that kind of vehicle would look like? Now, our society is really close to realizing this dream. And I must say that being a part of this is challenging, but really amazing. First of all, it is important to make clear that our job is not to design a new executive jet or a helicopter. These are very familiar to us nowadays. In the case of the eVTOL vehicles, there are many companies working simultaneously with different resources and solutions. And there is still a wide range of configurations being developed with many possibilities. We still have a lot of freedom to create. In this context, the most important thing is to always keep in mind the company's mission. And Eve's is very clear, a human-centric approach to urban mobility. So all we have discussed and defined for setting up our eVTOL is to ensure that we offer the right vehicle for the urban mobility mission. You will see that the development of the vehicle prioritizes the most appropriate characteristics for the mission, keeping in mind both the passengers and the communities where it will be operated. So let's start talking about the vehicle configuration. One of the most attention-grabbing features is that it has various rotors, or as we call it, distributed propulsion. The reason for this is simple and very important: safety. The various rotors make the eVTOL more robust in terms of operation for unexpected conditions and for any rotor failure. After all, it's not just one rotor, there are 8 of them. Another important aspect of the vehicle is its lift plus cruise configuration. This means that the vehicle has dedicated rotors for vertical flight and fixed wings to fly on cruise. This also means that no components change position during flight. And with this simplicity, we are able to combine the functionality of taking off and landing vertically with energy efficiency in cruise when the rotors are turned off and the eVTOL flies like an airplane. This is several times more energy efficient than flying with the rotors on, which then results in much less battery energy being spent. Additionally, it has fewer mechanisms and systems, which reduces maintenance and operational costs. Have you seen how we have only incorporated characteristics that allow us to deliver value for our urban mobility mission? Another thing that I would like to point out is that our eVTOL is being developed with features that I have explained so that the project is feasible within a reasonable time. The vehicle will enter into service with a pilot on board and a capacity for up to 4 passengers. This same vehicle will be capable of becoming autonomous after a few years of operation, which is currently also part of the design considerations. In short, a simple, robust vehicle that can go into operation in the short term. Well, let's now talk about some more specific aspects of the vehicle in action. The large rotors you see on the vehicle are sized to decrease the power for hover flight, allowing it to hover when needed and saving energy for cruise. In addition, the large rotors have lower blade loading, reducing the noise emission during takeoff and landing. Now look that the vehicle has already made the transition to cruise without changing the position of the components. All very simple. Here, the fixed wings come into play. Notice that the rotors are turned off with the lift coming from the wings, resulting in a much lower noise level and much lower energy consumption, as I mentioned earlier. After cruising, the vehicle transitions back to hover flight, repeating the same steps described earlier, now in reverse sequence. The lift rotors are turned back on, while the power on the pushers is decreased, decelerating the vehicle for hover flight and landing. Did you enjoy the trip? In addition to all the qualities and characteristics of the vehicle that you have just seen, Eve will develop this product in a model that is very advantageous to achieving the project goals, which is through a partnership with Embraer. Through this partnership, we have access to all background IP, both in terms of technical solutions and processes that have been developed by Embraer over the years in other airplane projects. For example, the fly-by-wire flight control system with which the vehicle interprets the pilot's commands to ensure consistency in response and protection in the flight envelope. This command is indispensable for eVTOL, and it's something complex to develop at the necessary integrity level for an aeronautical vehicle. But Embraer has been developing it in 4 previous generations of aircraft, including recently introduced E2 family and C390 military aircraft. Another important point is Embraer's extensive history with man-machine interface, which enables the pilot to interface with all of the vehicle systems. It is important, of course, that the pilot can connect with the vehicle and always know what is happening. In a nutshell, the experience of Embraer in all aspects related to the technical development of aeronautical products will strengthen Eve in the development of this vehicle. Ensuring safety and consistency required for aerial operation in urban environment and with people on board can be accomplished by just a few companies in the world. As important as the development of the vehicle is showing compliance with all certification requirements. Thus, it is important to have alongside Eve a background that connects with the regulatory agencies and the process of obtaining the type certificate of the vehicle. But before we get to this topic, I'd like to call for a statement of Marion Blakey, a member of the Board of Directors at Eve and former administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration, the certification authority of the United States.
Hello, I'm Marion Blakey, a member of the Board of Directors of Eve. Since my early days in aviation, and here we're talking about the Federal Aviation Administration, NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board, as well as in industry, I've been watching the problem of congestion in our cities, on our roads and highways, and I'm convinced that a part of the solution to our congestion problems is in the air, urban air mobility. Because I think we as passengers, consumers, are going to need to get medium to short range distances with aircraft that are safe, fast, cost efficient, and environmentally friendly. That's why I joined the board of Eve, because I think Eve has the full stack. It's a wonderful aircraft design, the ability to maintain those aircraft on a global basis, and also the ability to manage air traffic in an urban setting with small aircraft. Why do I say this? Because Embraer is behind the development of Eve and is bringing it to market. We all know that Embraer has formidable experience when it comes to engineering, design prowess, great leadership. That's borne out by decades of experience bringing aircraft to market successfully. And therefore, I think we're going to see another in that series of successful aircraft, Eve, because I do believe that Eve is going to be a part of the solution to our future transportation needs. And I'm excited to be a part of it.
Testimonials like these make us even more inspired to deliver the best eVTOL for urban transport. But as I said, let's now talk about another key point for the project to gain wings, which is the certification process. We will have ANAC, Brazil's national aviation agency, as a primary certification authority. This means that the full content of compliance with certification requirements will be seen by ANAC. Other authorities will validate this. They will see parts of the content created for certification, but will not have to see the complete set. Having ANAC as a primary certification authority is an advantage because we already have the processes established with them. In addition, ANAC's analysis time tends to be shorter because it has fewer projects in progress as a primary certification authority than other agencies in the world. Furthermore, the ongoing process has already been validated in other recent successful aircraft developments by Embraer, which has been awarded for their management accomplishments. And to complement this Embraer process, we have also early experimentations inspired by startups' fail-fast experience. It is a process that allows us to develop greater maturity and greater technical knowledge even at the beginning of the development process. Then, once we have this evaluation, we can follow the path already established by Embraer. That is, having the possibility to follow the process complemented by this phase of initial experimentation. And doing this with ANAC is a path that we see as being very solid for the certification of the vehicle. As an engineer, I can say that we can't wait to see our eVTOLs bringing ease and convenience to the day-to-day life of cities. If there is any doubt, please send your question to Q&A, which will happen in a few minutes. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Valentini, for sharing with us some of the most important technical aspects of your eVTOL. Now let's make a direct connection with an iconic company. Let's hear from Rob Watson, President at Rolls-Royce Electrical. Ready?
Rolls-Royce is delighted to partner with Eve Urban Air Mobility Solutions as they deliver their eVTOL aircraft and an urban air traffic management system to a global market. Working in a strategic partnership, we'll help Eve develop their powertrain and energy storage system design, combining our joint aviation expertise, capabilities and technology to lead the way in urban air mobility. This opportunity builds on our long-standing relationship with Embraer, with whom we have successfully collaborated on a range of aerospace projects, and allows us to further develop a truly world-class engineering partnership. We're always looking to develop innovative engineering solutions, and Eve's eVTOL platform and urban air management solution has huge potential in an accelerating and dynamic new market where Rolls-Royce sees significant opportunity for growth. That's why we will both partner with and invest in Eve. Rolls-Royce Electrical will bring to the team market-leading experience in aerospace electrical power and propulsion, having powered some of the most innovative and advanced engineering programs in advanced air mobility to date. The opportunity to bring a world-class platform to market in collaboration with Eve will be a new and exciting landmark in our own electrical journey and in the group's journey to net zero.
Well, now let's see what Eve accomplished so far, considering the program Milestones and Embraer contributions to its footprint. Please play the video, director.
We are working to transform our eVTOL from a concept into a reality. Eve is accelerating the global urban air mobility ecosystem with a startup mindset and backed by Embraer's more than 50 years of aviation history. We have reached multiple milestones, including the first flight of the engineering simulator in July 2020. In October 2020, the first proof of concept flew. Last month, we formalized the process for obtaining a type certificate for our eVTOL with the Brazilian Civil Aviation Agency, which has a bilateral agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration. We also perform tests using a helicopter to exercise the perception systems that will make fully autonomous flights possible in the future. Together with Embraer, we have access to the most talented and experienced aeronautical engineers, including more than 5,000 employees. Both Eve's and our peers' eVTOL will benefit from Embraer's trusted global service and support network. We are also developing a new air traffic management system, which incorporates the lessons learned from Embraer's existing air traffic management portfolio. That's how we are reimagining urban air mobility in a safe and sustainable way for everyone, everywhere. Eve, Mobility Reimagined.
Congratulations to all. We all know that efficient service and support is key for the success of any operation. And to explain the structure of Eve's services and the fleet operations approach, I invite to the stage Luis Mawad, Vice President of Services and Fleet Operations. Welcome, Mawad.
Hello, I'm Luis Mawad, Vice President of Services and Fleet Operations. I am responsible for our eVTOL service and support offerings, as well as our strategy to enter the market for eVTOL passenger services. I have joined Eve a little over a year ago, and I had previously spent 14 years with Embraer, most recently responsible for aftermarket strategy for commercial, executive, and defense segments. Let me start with an overview of Eve's service and support functions. We plan to offer a full portfolio of services to support our customers. We expect our portfolio to include material services, vehicle maintenance, and pilot training, among other services. We will also be collecting a great amount of data, which we expect to monetize through analytics offerings. In summary, we will look to be a one-stop shop for our customers as they operate eVTOLs globally. And these services are not limited to EV vehicles. We plan to take an agnostic approach and also provide these aftermarket services for third-party eVTOLs as well. So why are services such a focus for Eve? First, service and support is a vital aspect to fleet operations. Simply put, without aftermarket services, aircraft do not fly. And given that urban air mobility is a brand new market, we see a golden opportunity to establish Eve as a first mover and leader in this area. Second, service capabilities are a key selling point for aircraft customers. In other words, we believe our aftermarket services will drive more sales of our eVTOLs, creating a virtuous cycle. Third, aftermarket services represent an attractive source of revenues that tend to be both predictable and quite profitable. To put this in perspective, Embraer generated over $1 billion of services and support revenue during the last 12 months, representing 23% of total revenue. And fourth, we have a unique and compelling advantages in this area. Embraer has a global services and support footprint that spans 80 countries with more than 70 wanted and authorized service centers and more than 20 warehouses. Through our master services agreement with Embraer, Eve will have access to these facilities at attractive cost-based pricing. Embraer has built a reputation for providing world-class aircraft support services. It is the same passion for customer satisfaction that permeates our services and support organization. Next, I would like to discuss our approach to the fleet operations market. We do plan to participate in the operations of eVTOLs to support passenger services. In fact, we expect fleet operations to represent nearly 20% of our revenue by 2030. However, our approach to fleet operations is very unique. We plan to participate in this market in collaboration with partners. So what does that mean? We will align ourselves with established operators of fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters, as well as ride-sharing platforms, and approach the urban air mobility market together, sharing both revenues and risks. To be clear, we do not plan to carry eVTOLs on our own balance sheet. We do not expect to sell tickets to passengers. We will leave those responsibilities to our partners. We will instead contribute our expertise in eVTOL design, operation, and service, and also support our partners with global infrastructure and support capabilities. We firmly believe our approach to fleet operations is the winning model for the following reasons. Capital efficiency. Because we will not own the vehicles, we expect to maintain our asset-light model and thus require less capital to fund our business plan. Scalability. We believe we will establish a global fleet operations presence more quickly and efficiently by leveraging the established footprints of our partners. We believe this approach will allow us to scale more rapidly on a partner-by-partner basis rather than building our own capability city by city. Lower risks. We expect our partnerships will allow us to share execution risks and also leverage the expertise of our partners. It would be wise for Eve to attempt to create an airline from scratch when you can instead partner with the best operators in the industry. Lastly, our collaborative approach allows us to participate in fleet operations without competing with our eVTOL customers. I will also briefly introduce you the urban air traffic management concept created by Eve. It's a collection of systems, services, and technologies to support the integrated operation of urban air mobility vehicles in a low-level airspace. It enables the optimized performance and safety of UAM operations, driving towards autonomy. Eve is developing software solutions that will advance the UATM concept, serving as a key enabler to the implementation and scalability of UAM, as well as a viable business opportunity through the sales of services to air navigation services provider, urban authorities, fleet operators, vertiport operators, and other UAM stakeholders. To finish, while we believe this is the right model for our solutions, it has been gratifying to see our partners also embrace this approach. Now, I will turn things back to Sonia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mawad. Now we have a video that shows a simulation of how the entire operation of the eVTOL will be. We will have a look from both a consumer point of view as well as the benefits it brings to urban mobility. Please play the video, director.
Ela permitiu entender algumas coisas, como a utilização do espaço aéreo com mais profundidade e também perceber alguns ajustes que o aeroporto precisa fazer em termos de flexibilidade, em termos de atender todo e qualquer tipo de serviço que vai ser realizado com a mobilidade aérea urbana. Para nós, o principal aprendizado é que a infraestrutura tem que estar pronta para diversas possibilidades que a mobilidade aérea urbana vai trazer.
Belíssimo trabalho de valorização do tempo do passageiro, principalmente nas duas pontas do processo. Isso tudo referendado por um transporte rápido e seguro, que a Erisul fez em 10 a 11 minutos, um trajeto extremamente complexo em certos dias. Então isso referendou uma ideia de valorização do tempo e valorização, inclusive, dos passageiros em geral. Nós temos 49 anos de atividade em transporte de passageiros com helicópteros e várias variáveis específicas da mobilidade urbana foram surpresa para nós. Então, isso, apesar da gente ter um conhecimento vasto no assunto, isso incorporou um know-how que será super útil para melhorar a jornada do passageiro, melhorar a jornada da aeronave e melhorar a jornada de manutenção.
Very well. Everybody back? So let's go to the final part of the event. We've already given you an overview of the business. You have seen the company's potential, the product, the global demand. You heard testimonials from companies that corroborate the project. Now let's get deeper into the most important points of the operation. And for starters, I'd like to call Stein and Jerry again. Please, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Sonia, and hi everyone again. Developing, certifying, and scaling a full-stack urban air mobility solution is an ambitious endeavor. To be successful requires significant levels of experience, innovation, and resources. But in the aviation industry, cost considerations often mean the difference between success and failure in any program. Here at Eve, we believe we have significant cost advantages, both in terms of our differentiated business model and the operation of our aircraft. Let's spend a moment on both topics.
Thanks, Stein. As you know by now, one of our key advantages is access to a wide range of Embraer resources. Through the terms of our Master Services Agreement, these world-class resources of Embraer are available to us on a contractual basis at very attractive cost-based pricing. First, we have access to a wide array of infrastructure that would be incredibly expensive and time-consuming to create from scratch. This includes flight test infrastructure, wind tunnels, flight simulators, service and support facilities around the world, and the largest runway and extensive flight test facilities in the Southern Hemisphere. We have instant access to these resources and can utilize them on an as-needed basis, thereby saving significant costs along the way. Second, we have access to an army of Embraer employees, approximately 5,000 in total, that are available to support Eve on a first priority basis. This workforce includes 1,600 named aeronautical engineers that are among the most talented and experienced in the industry. We are able to pull from this pool of employee talent at any point and flex up and down based on our needs. We believe this as-a-service model provides us with a substantial advantage, both in terms of resources and cost efficiency. Finally, given our significant base of operations in Brazil, we are able to take advantage of lower labor costs compared to North America and Western Europe. while also leveraging some of the best aviation talent in the world, talent that is already available in this highly competitive global job market. Together, this foundation provides Eve with important execution advantages. In fact, according to our financial benchmarking, it also provides a significant OpEx and CapEx advantage over our peer group. Isn't that right, Stein?
Absolutely right. And we intend to use this advantage to democratize air travel by making urban air mobility flights accessible for passengers from all backgrounds and potential needs. But affordable ticket prices are driven by the cost to operate the aircraft itself. And in this area, our solution excels. We have designed our aircraft from day one to deliver a compelling cost of operation. It starts with our Lift plus Cruise design. As you had seen, our aircraft leveraged fixed wings for lift while in cruising mode, improving battery efficiency, which is one of the biggest eVTOL cost considerations. Our aircraft is also designed to be flown intuitively, leveraging our 5th generation fly-by-wire and advanced pilot machine interface, which optimize pilot training and staffing costs, another major operating expense. Valentini also showed that our aircraft does not employ complex mechanisms like tilt rotors that can impact reliability and maintenance costs. And our simple design, combined with our design for maintainability experience, also means enhancing utilization rates. And our aircraft design does not depend on major breakthroughs in technology. Instead, we are blending the best of proven technologies from Embraer with new innovations developed specifically for this aircraft. We have also designed our aircraft for low cost and scalable manufacturing. This is a core competence that has been instilled in our team by virtue of our Embraer heritage. Every element of this aircraft, from the design itself to the materials and components to the manufacturing approach, is being optimized for cost and quality. Over a 50-year history in the aviation industry, Embraer has been recognized as a leader in terms of quality, reliability, and cost. We are committed to ensure this level of excellence continues here at Eve.
Absolutely, Stein. An efficient and reliable vehicle is certainly important, but those vehicles need to be sustained once they're in operation. And we expect this to be a global market. As stated earlier, here too, we have a distinct advantage in our ability to leverage Embraer's existing global support and maintenance network. We do not have to consume precious capital to create infrastructure to support the vehicles operated by our customers around the world. And it is an important point worth noting that we do not intend to compete with our customers. We do not intend to vertically integrate and will be selling aircraft versus maintaining them on our balance sheet. We've established partnerships around the globe. Those partners will be responsible for operations, and where it makes sense, we may participate, bringing our unique capabilities as well. This partner-by-partner, city-by-city approach is not only very efficient, it allows us to focus our capital on product development and scale that more efficiently. And now, for further details on the business model, revenue, and so on, we'll give way to Eve's CFO, Edu Kuto, who you have already met.
Thanks, Jerry. Hi again, everyone. I'm back now to give more visibility of our business plan. Eve will explore 4 major revenue streams, including eVTOL sales, eVTOL service and support, urban air traffic management, and operations with partners. We expect to reach $1.1 billion in total revenues by 2027, growing to 1.8 in 2028, 3 billion in 2029, and 4.5 billion by 2030. I'll explain in more details how we expect to achieve this significant revenue expansion driven by these 4 pillars. First, eVTOL sales. Eve expects a steady growth in eVTOL deliveries from 340 eVTOLs in our second year of operations in 2027 to 480 in the third year, 2028, reaching over 1,000 deliveries by 2030. Our delivery schedule is supported by the largest eVTOL backlog in the industry that Stein and Jerry will show in more detail. We anticipate an eVTOL list price of around $3 million. With that, our eVTOL sales alone may account for approximately 65% of Eve's revenues in our initial years. Our second line of business is eVTOL services and support. Eve expects to support not only the majority of its eVTOL fleet, but also eVTOL from other manufacturers. As our head of service and support described, we expect to leverage Embraer's existing service and support network to secure eVTOL customers worldwide. Eve expects to generate revenues of around $500,000 in service and support per eVTOL per year in a recurrent basis. The service and support business is stable and highly recurrent, representing approximately 20% of Eve's total revenues in the initial years. In summary, Eve's core business of eVTOL in these two pillars, sales and service and support, will represent around 85% of our total revenues in the initial years of operation. On top of eVTOL sales and services and support, Eve will also explore two other areas in the UAM ecosystem: urban air traffic management software and potential fleet operations with partners. Those two areas are viewed as important enablers to the eVTOL market. In the case of UATM software, we expect to sell software to air navigation service providers in different countries to allow them to control urban air traffic, which is critical to scale the eVTOL business safely. In our assumptions, Eve's UATM revenues will range from $50 to $100 million per year over time, with a small portion of air navigation fees going to Eve. In the case of fleet operations with partners, we believe Eve can share operating revenues and costs with some local operators in specific regions to develop the ecosystem. In those cases, the local partners can sell tickets at around $100 and have a profitable operation flying 3 to 4 hours per day. In summary, this is our business model. If you want to clarify any point, send your questions in the box below the chat, that soon I will return to another Q&A session. See you.
Edu, once again, thank you very much. We will see you again in the Q&A session. And for a deeper look into Eve's partnerships, I re-invite Stein and Jerry to the studio. Welcome.
Thanks, Sonia. We are fortunate at Eve to have tremendous resources available to us through our relationship with Embraer. Nevertheless, urban air mobility is a brand new market, and to address this ecosystem requires additional capabilities. In other words, we can't do this alone. Since we started this project, we have been building a network of industry-leading partners spanning the entire urban air mobility ecosystem and the entire globe. This open, collaborative approach is a core element of our growth strategy, and I am very proud of the progress we have made to date, signing partnership agreements with leaders across the industry and in multiple continents, where early adopters of urban air mobility are positioning themselves for success with Eve. Let me give you some highlights. First, we have our customers and fleet operating partners. We have signed agreements with 19 customers to date, among airlines, helicopter operators, ride-sharing platforms, and even leasing companies, for a total of 1,825 aircraft. These are leading players in their respective markets. They have deep expertise in managing fleets, operating large route networks, flying urban environments, and serving as the face to the passenger.
Next, we have our infrastructure partnerships, a new breed of takeoff and landing sites called vertiports, which will comprise a large network in every city that wishes to adopt UAM. We have formed partnerships with operators of traditional airports and private aviation terminals, FBOs, as well as vertiport specialists. We're currently working with these partners to determine the optimal design, location, and operating model of UAM vertiports. One key function of a vertiport is to provide rapid and efficient battery charging capabilities. To that end, we've also formed partnerships with 3 leading firms in renewable energy to help architect this new energy-as-a-service paradigm. Turning now to technology partnerships, we have a rich portfolio of technology assets and development capabilities at Eve, but we also plan to leverage the expertise of best-of-breed suppliers of selected components and subsystems. To date, we have established partnerships with several technology specialists to leverage their knowledge and resources to enhance the development of our vehicle. Speaking of markets, Eve is focused primarily on the passenger segment of the UAM market. To address adjacent UAM markets, we plan to align ourselves with category leaders with well-established businesses, brands, and channels. Our work with BAE in the defense market is a great example of this collaborative approach. Last but not least, scaling this industry requires capital. Capital to finance manufacturing of eVTOLs and capital to finance the purchasing of the vehicles. We have partnered with 2 leaders in the aircraft leasing market, as well as top-tier financial institutions to support our future growth. Another example of our collaborative approach is the work we are doing with partners to define a concept of operations, or CONOPS, for UAM operations. Through our CONOPS partnerships, we're helping to define the airspace design, procedures, and infrastructure required to safely integrate eVTOL operations into dense, low-altitude urban airspace. These efforts allow Eve to engage early with regulatory agencies and other key stakeholders to optimize our vehicle design and foster UAM market development by defining the rules and regulations that do not exist today.
For example, we have just seen the urban air mobility simulations in Rio de Janeiro that we conducted in the end of last year using a conventional helicopter and working with a dozen partners and government entities. Our concept of operations in Brazil successfully mapped operations to identify the needs of the users, community, and other stakeholders, and created a blueprint for future operations and regulatory framework. We have conducted additional concept of operation studies in London, in Australia, and in Miami, and we have ongoing initiatives in Japan as well.
Now that you know more about our partner network, I want to step back and underscore a few ways that Eve is unique in the urban air mobility industry. First, our approach is highly collaborative. As you heard earlier today, we plan to combine the best capabilities of Eve and Embraer with the best capabilities of our world-class partners. This strength will also be a force multiplier and allow us to scale faster and more efficiently than we could on a standalone basis. Second, we're open. We're taking an agnostic approach to fleet operations and service and support. What does that mean? While our business model is centered around our own eVTOL, we also plan to service other parts of the UAM ecosystem, including other parties' aircraft. The UAM market has room for multiple participants, so we have no issues working with competitors to enable the industry to scale. Third, we're taking a holistic approach through our partner network. Eve will address the full spectrum of requirements to allow the UAM market to thrive. We understand it is not enough to introduce a leading eVTOL alone. What is needed is an end-to-end experience that enables safe, affordable, and accessible urban air mobility for all passengers. Fourth, the breadth of our experience. We are much more than an eVTOL company. The additional services and technology that comprise our ecosystem integrator approach is not new for Embraer. Our parent company has been a leader in aviation for over 50 years. At Eve, we benefit from established excellence in aircraft design and manufacturing, service and support, and air traffic management. It is this breadth of maturity and existing expertise that has attracted our partners to Eve. I'll now turn it back to Sonia.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Stein. Now I would like to call 2 testimonials in a row. And both are from partners that have already ordered eVTOLs themselves. Brian Bedford, President at Republic Airways, and Rob Simmons, Chief Financial Officer at SkyWest. Shall we see them?
I've been in the regional airline business for more than 35 years, and almost consistently through that time, I've been partnered with Embraer in one way or another. And today, Republic operates over 220 large Embraer E-jets, with another 100 orders firmed up for future delivery. So in a word, I would tell you, we're excited about Eve because we are so confident in the products that Embraer produces, not only their quality and their reliability, but the fact that they meet a mission that is desperately needed. Regional airlines are going to be on the forefront of decarbonization of intermodal travel. It's a fact. Our business is to move small populations of people from point A to point B. And the eVTOL product that Embraer is producing not only will meet the market demand as it evolves, but it will also be done with a level of engineering, design, and quality, and mission utility that I don't think the other eVTOL producers are going to be capable of meeting. What really excites me about Eve is its relationship with Embraer. The Embraer team has a 50-year history of producing some of the best engineered products in commercial aviation. Their designs are impeccable, the quality of their production's outstanding, and they have a competence of having their commercial products certified across the globe. And while there are a lot of competitors in this eVTOL market, and I'm sure there'll be several successful entries, the fact of the matter is very few of them have the chops, the track record of being able to successfully certify products across the globe and stand behind those products with outstanding customer service and product support. So again, when I think about the future of eVTOL, it's hard to pick the winners and losers, but I would never bet against Embraer. So I'm really excited about the opportunities we will have with Eve over the next 5-6 years.
Hi, I'm Rob Simmons, SkyWest Chief Financial Officer. SkyWest is pleased to be a strategic partner in Eve Air Mobility's 100% electric eVTOL aircraft, with a letter of intent for 100 of their 4-passenger eVTOL aircraft. This partnership furthers SkyWest's commitment to sustainability. We believe electric and sustainable aviation will only become more important in the years and decades to come. The partnership also includes an agreement to partner on network development and vehicle design and specifications. As the largest regional airline in the U.S., SkyWest is currently dispatching approximately 2,000 flights per day. The operating and network expertise required for this volume of flying combines nicely with Embraer-backed Eve's engineering strength. Together, we have formed what we believe to be an exceptional partnership on the leading edge of electric and urban air mobility. We believe in this new partnership and that this agreement demonstrates our commitment to minimizing environmental impact and continuing to develop our roadmap to sustainability. Just last week, I got to hear Jerry and Eduardo present the Eve story at an investor conference. It was great to see how well received the story was, and we're proud to be part of it.
Let's go now to the last topic of our event. Do you remember that Flavia said she would be back? So, the Vice President of User Experience will now talk about how the entire ecosystem of cities is being planned for a future of urban flights. Please, Flavia, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Sonia. At Eve, we are excited about bringing quiet and clean urban air mobility to life. That is why we are committed to making UAM accessible so that everybody can spend more time on things that matter. As you have seen today, launching a safer, affordable, and greener urban air mobility solution requires more than a new type of aircraft. We will need a whole new UAM ecosystem, ideally one that is agnostic, integrated, and actable. It requires to connect people, technology, and service that follow shared rules, so that environment is ready for electric UAM and prepared for its growth as more people want to fly. But building a new UAM ecosystem is a big job, and Eve can do it alone. That's why we are working with governments and leading consortiums around the globe to prepare cities for the future of urban flight. Sty and Jerry just explained that we have been working with energy companies, vertiport operators, fleet operators, booking platforms, and a lot more to develop concepts of operations, or CONOPs. These CONOPs help us better understand how the ecosystem will work together, what changes are needed, and where opportunities exist for new or better service. Meanwhile, we always keep a human-centered design mindset to ensure that ecosystems support a diverse range of passengers and provide a positive UAM experience. We need to understand what service passenger needs, where they want to go, and what will take for UAM to be attractive and add value to their life. As we move forward, we will continue to partner with others to learn how we can best scale UAM and ensure we deliver value to Eve, our passengers, and our communities. Thank you very much, and I would like to call back Sonia Bridge.
Thank you again, Flavia. Now let's hear our last testimonial from another important partner, Manuel Entrecanales, Chairman and CEO at Acciona. Shall we see it?
Acciona is proud to be joining forces with Eve to develop the next generation of sustainable mobility solutions for cities. We believe the future of transport will be shared, electric and sustainable. We also believe different types of vehicle will coexist to cover different needs. New technologies are rapidly changing the way we move. On the ground, Acciona is already a major investor in the e-vehicles and operates an e-scooter sharing service in Europe. In the air, vertical takeoff and landing vehicles have attractive business fundamentals and will be a game changer in densely populated cities. Our investment in Eve complements our urban mobility strategy. Eve's electric aircraft will be quiet, energy efficient, non-polluting, and eventually pilotless. With our experienced team and a powerful network of partners, I believe the company is well placed to deliver a sustainable and scalable solution for urban air mobility. At Acciona, we are constantly innovating to bring new sustainable solutions for a decarbonized world. Our investment in Eve gives us a chance to play a strategic role in the expansion of urban air mobility. It's a great pleasure and an honor to be part of Eve's board, and I look forward to personally meeting you soon. Thank you very much.